How I turned the tables on my slacker classmates in engineering. This happened about 12 years ago while I was studying aeronautical engineering. Thanks to some money-driven legislation, many unnecessary courses were added to our degree requirements. One of those was a business class, which seemed ridiculous since most engineers don't handle the business side of things. Fortunately, we had a teacher who understood that many of us were bored out of our minds. As someone who always strived for good grades, I found myself struggling with the class. Then, we were assigned a nightmare of a project worth 50% of our grade. Our small class of just over 30 people had me grouped with 3 classmates I knew from other courses. Right from the start, we hit problems. 2 of my group members, who barely passed calculus, quickly decided to dump their work on me, knowing I wouldn't let myself fail. At first, the third member tried to pick up the slack, and she was great, but unfortunately, she was easily manipulated. The 2 slackers pressured her to take on more work, eventually trying to present the project themselves. The day of the presentation arrived, and I was sick with bronchitis, stuck in the clinic. I managed to message our teacher about my situation. Meanwhile, the slackers convinced my group member to present the project and claimed they did all the work, saying I was skipping class. I was furious when I received an initial grade of F. However, I soon realized I held the only copy of our written report, which I had typed up. Cue the revenge. I approached the teacher privately with my notes and report to get the grade I earned. He was amused by the situation and agreed, planning to fail the slackers for academic dishonesty. Publicly, I played it cool. The 2 slackers started. How I turned the tables on my slacker classmates in engineering, Part 2. Publicly, I played it cool. The 2 slackers started demanding the report from me, but I feigned innocence, responding sweetly that I hadn't done any work. They then tried to act friendly, claiming it was all a joke and promised to tell the professor I contributed. I maintained my stony silence, making it clear I'd rather fail than let them pass. Things escalated. They knocked on my dorm door at odd hours, shoved me, and even stole my backpack to search for the report. One of them asked my roommate for access to my things, but luckily, she wasn't my roommate the next semester. As the last week of classes approached, I had held out on them for a month, and enough time had passed that even if they submitted something now, it would be too late. The girl who had worked with me was panicking over the prospect of failing, which was exactly what my teacher and I had been waiting for. Finally, the teacher returned reports to the class. The slackers glared at me as he handed out everyone else's before pausing in front of them, holding what looked like one extra report. Their hopes rose, but he placed just a single sheet of paper on one of their desks before moving on to my partner's desk, where he laid down our report. I had to dock some points for dishonesty, but you and your partner did decently, he stated. My partner realized what I had done, and although we scored an 82, it was far better than the 0 the slackers received. I had meticulously documented their harassment and ensured several witnesses saw their actions. Just 2 days after receiving their failing grades, they found themselves in deeper trouble. I reported the academic dishonesty to the administration, who dug deeper and discovered a pattern of misbehavior. It turned out that multiple students had reported issues with the slackers stealing their work. In the end, they were expelled.